Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games for the Game Pass collection, bringing you three unique perspectives from varying skill range. I'm the one who came here to ball, Andrew. With me, the one who's been kicked out of numerous ball pits, Keith.
Hello.
And the one who wants to be a baller, shot caller, Aaron.
Hello.
This week, we played Ball Pit, or Ball X Pit, or Ball Cross Pit. But I'll just be calling it Ball Pit by Kenny Sun. Ball Pit is a arcade roguelike where it's a roguelike brick breaker game. We are playing as certain characters, basically fighting enemies by shooting balls at people. And once you return back to your base, build up your base, and bounce your characters around to build your base and keep upgrading your characters as you keep digging deeper and deeper to get farther in the world. But going around to whether or not this is a game or pass, I will start this off. Ball Pit is a definite game. I honestly don't know who I would not recommend this game to. This game is super easy, super fun, super quick, but super addictive. We've played obviously a lot of roguelikes, but one thing that I absolutely love about this roguelike is, to me, it essentially feels like you have unlimited power. No matter what you are doing, there does not seem to be a cap. So you literally can keep leveling up each one of your characters, keep making all their stats better. So if you're struggling, just keep playing. You're just naturally going to get, your characters are just eventually going to become gods on their own. This is a definite game.
Yeah, this had popped up, I think probably a month or two ago on my YouTube. Someone was playing like a demo for it or, gotten a key for it. I don't know what it was. And I watched a few minutes. I was like, man, that looks like the exact type of stupid fun I would love. And then Andrew texted me and he's like, hey, Keith, you need to check out Ball Pit. You're going to love this game. And it made my day that day. This is the game for me. It's a definite game. It's like they were like, hey, what would Keith like to play? And then they built that game. And for that, Andrew, you're right. Everybody should play this. There's no reason not to. It's so simple and so addicting. It shouldn't be as fun as it is because of how dumb it is. But man, I sat down and I would just play this for like an hour or two at a time, just easy.
Even though the runs are 15 less minutes, you're still going to be playing a lot of time in it.
Yeah, it's just it can just fly by, and yeah, definite game, and I'll leave it at that for you.
All right. So this is gonna be a game, but it's not gonna be a definite game. I don't think I'm gonna fall on this What?
So kick him off the podcast.
As excited about this as you guys are. So just to roguelikes, nice. Roguelikes in general, they're everywhere right now, and I don't know if I'd call this exactly a roguelike. This feels like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, Mega Bonk. It's those games, but just with a ball instead.
Survivor games, I think, is
it's the same thing, just a different format of it. And so what I'm doing in my brain is I'm comparing it to games that we've played. Now, I've already said in our most recent Deep Rock Galactic Survivor one that was my favorite version of that game. And this game does not beat that. And they are similar. This one does do some different things that I actually really do love about it. So I'm not negative on this game. This is a game. I just wouldn't necessarily say this is absolutely locked down because it does not beat Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Like right now, if I'm logging on and those two games are available for me, I'm going to Deep Rock Galactic Survivor because I think its meta progression is far better than this one. But I'm sure we will get into that as we talk it through.
Oh, see, I disagree because Deep Rock Galactic has a cap. And I've hit that cap, and that's what kind of
sure. It's a massive cap though. And I don't necessarily, I mean, is 500 hours to get the cap worse than unlimited? To me,
it doesn't take 500 hours in Deep Rock Galactic.
It could take you a long time
it takes a while, yes.
To master every gun, to master
every
class,
yeah.
to master every level.
But at that point, you beat the game and you're pretty much
that's
done.
my point. My point is I think the meta progression there is better than what's in Ball Pit. I don't like Ball Pit's meta progression. Like,
so I disagree with you there, but I see exactly what you're saying in terms of comparing the two.
I do not like the harvesting feature. I think that. All right, let's just jump into gameplay. We'll talk it.
Well, there is a story technically.
Yeah, there is a story
technically.
Tower of Babylon.
Yeah, as I said,
Balbalon.
you know, it's Balbalon, Keith.
True.
So as I said, you know, the story of Ball Pit, you know, there was a great city and a giant ball meteor thing fell on it and crushed it and made a giant crater. Of course, the city was called Balbalon. And you are a group of treasure hunters. You, of course, only start as the warrior, but you are essentially creating a lift and going down the layers to try to get to the center to get to Balbalon and figure out kind of what happened. But each character, of course, has their own unique abilities. In specific balls, when you are shooting in this game, you can either turn on auto fire or actually aim and press right and shoot the trigger. But you essentially have two different types of balls. You have your special balls, and then you have your baby balls. Baby balls are just, of course, the tiny little white ones. They don't do anything special. They just do flat damage, and that's it. But your special balls, of course, vary from giving bleed, poison, cursing, you know, slow, burn, everything. And then, of course, as you're playing, you can combine the balls. So you can combine a bleeding with vampire and create a vampire lord, or create something just unique and interesting. You know, create a swarm of bees that also spread fire. So there's quite a bit of options as you're playing these rounds, and every time you're doing it, characters leveling up and getting stronger. And then, of course, every time you complete a run, you're gathering resources, wheat, wood, and fire and stone, and you can create structures. You're finding blueprints as you're doing your runs. Hey, you can now build the monastery. You can now build, you know, a schoolhouse, which also will unlock new characters. You could build an apartment complex, which unlocks like the cohabitants, which is just another character that plays a different way. You know, instead they shoot 2 balls at a time, or maybe someone shoots from the back of the line. One person throws the balls. But you are just playing with each of these characters, leveling up, and as I said, try to get deeper and deeper into the hole. Is there anything else you really want to add to the story? I like that it had one in the beginning. It was actually interesting of like, this is why you're doing things.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know my thing, especially when it comes to these games, really, especially when I couldn't care less. It's a means to an end. Hades and a handful of others like that are kind of an exception, but when it comes to this type of game, I couldn't care less.
This is a survivor game again.
Yeah,
I wouldn't compare this to Hades. I know that you're gonna. I know that the easy thing to
Well,
say is
no,
like
not
a
carrying
roguelike.
this to Hades in any way. I'm just saying in terms of a roguelike or even a survivor. Like, there's just, if you want to put in a story, like I think, I want to say like Vampire Survivors has a little bit of it, or Brotato has a tiny bit of it, but it's really a means to an end. Anything that's in there is a means to an end.
Well, that's the thing, right? This will get labeled as a roguelike, but I really do think those are two different genres. Like, I think Hades is a roguelike. What was that one? What was that really popular one with you have like the green flaming skull?
Dead Cells.
Dead Cells. So like those were all roguelikes. Like, and this to me is much more of a Brotato, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, Vampire Survivors. Like, that's to me what this is actually more like. So in my brain, again, that's where I was doing most of my comparisons. This is just a different format of that, which I, again, huge fan of. Like that it's that ball breaker type games. What were those? What was the name of that original
Brick Breaker?
Brick Break.
Yes. I think that's a really clever way of kind of evolving this. But yeah, that's to me again where my brain was doing all these comparisons.
Well, what I think it is, I think they're both roguelikes. They're just kind of subgenres. Like, I guess to get like technical or semantics about it, they're kind of subgenres. It's sort of like saying that Madden is a sports game and NBA 2K is a sports game. You can't compare them because they're completely different sports games, but you can say they're both sports games because they are. And I'm not even arguing with you, but that's how I think I would categorize it, because I agree with you. I'm not going to compare this to Hades, and I'm not going to compare it to Dead Cells. Heck, I'm not even going to compare it to Slay the Spire, right? But it is still a roguelike but the survivor aspect of it is a whole different subgenre. And even interestingly, this might just be more of a YouTube phenomenon, but I think it's kind of funny is that like Balatro has become its own little subgenre of like people like you'll see people describe it like, oh, it's Balatro but Brick Breaker.
Yeah,
and you're like, no, it's not. It's I can see what you're doing in that Balatro took a game style of another thing and like now you're really spreading it thin. I'm in line with the Survivor roguelike thing.
And the only reason why I think it's kind of important to discern that, especially when you're at least talking about the story, is when it comes to the Survivor genre of these games, none of them have stories. Like, this might have the deepest lore of all of them, and there isn't that much there. Like, it literally comes in with a story, and that it kicks into the game within like 15 seconds of the story. And so it probably has the most story, and yet it really isn't one. And these games don't need them, though. That's not why anyone would ever play these games. It's not. It's obviously not the reason why I would ever recommend these games. So that's the reason why I think like it's important to kind of discern them, because Hades is known for its story, but these Survivor type games, they are definitely not. So yeah, I mean, there's kind of a story there, but not really.
Yeah.
I mean, did any of you actually like roll credits?
Keith, you 1,000%ed this, didn't you?
I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I saw it. I put it up yesterday.
It's actually
I saw you had 1,000 on it.
Really pretty easy, honestly.
Yeah,
we can
I mean,
get into
pretty
that.
close.
But
so then you definitely rolled credits then.
Yeah, I'm just
that
trying
ending
to think
cutscene. I do not suffer from epilepsy, but my God, like,
you know what it kind of reminded me of in a weird way? Like,
a drug trip.
No, do you remember Dr. Mario's ending? Did you ever beat Dr. Mario?
Played it, but never beat it.
The little viruses, it's them like up on a hill and a spaceship comes and takes them away. And it's like this weird little, like, I don't know. That's kind of what it reminded me of. That you're just waiting for them to all collect around the spire and then they all take off or something, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of weird. But that's not what we're here to talk about. This is not about the story. This is about the gameplay.
Yeah. So I guess it is easy to kind of 1,000 this game. But I do love, as soon as you beat this game, so as I said, as you're playing, you have to beat each layer with so many characters. Like the first layer, you just got to beat with like 2 people. But obviously it picks up because eventually you can play 2 characters at once. And every time you beat a boss, you get gears, which upgrade the elevator, which lets you go down deeper into the mine and unlock new arenas that you're kind of fighting in. I loved as soon as you beat the game, which I thought for sure to beat the game, you would have to beat the final boss with all characters. No, you only needed to do it with like 8 or so.
I think so, yeah.
And then it unlocks instantly New Game Plus. And you're just going deeper into the mine. And I loved how it just kicked off into that. To me, this game's loop is so incredibly addicting. I do agree with you, Aaron. So Aaron was talking about how the base building is kind of the weakest part. Yes, it is the weakest part, but I didn't hate it. Like there is a lot of times where I just want to hit retry. I want to do another run, but I'm like, well, I got to go back to base. I got to use the harvesting and actually like do it. So as a base building goes, actually, Keith actually shared an image of it. The base building in it is super simplistic. You're literally kind of just plopping little buildings in an area, and you send your people out. They hit the buildings, and they'll either upgrade the building if you paid money for it, or they're going to go around and collect the wheat, collect the stone, collect the wood, and you're just slowly just building this little plot of land up, this base. It's super simplistic, so I didn't hate it. To me, it was a little bit of a distraction, but like it didn't take away from the game.
Well, that's part of my issue, though. Part of my issue is it felt like in theory, this is a really cool idea, because it's for those that don't understand when Andrew's saying you send people out to harvest, you're playing the brick breaking game. Just with this, they're bouncing off of things. But at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't know. This really doesn't do anything. Like, I just put buildings and I bounce people off of them, and all right, now back to the game. It just didn't. I wish there was some strategy to it. Like, I wish there was you could only have certain buildings. maybe it was like, and you do some of your like developing here. Well, I can only have these types of buildings. What type of run do I want to have? Okay, I'll put these buildings here.
Oh, no, that would annoy me.
No,
You have to keep changing your building for
I'm
a
just
run?
saying this as like kind of a theory. I don't.
Well, your theory sucks.
Okay, but my point was this was pointless. My point was this was pointless. Where, again, not for compare. I'm gonna try not to do this the whole entire time, but it's just closest, and it's the thing that I love the most. But in Deep Rock, it had a looter element to it. There was a loot development element, and it was much more RPG built. And so again, that scratches an itch for me where I'm like, okay, I love those types of things. So I get both of these things married together. This meta progression was like, I pop some buildings down and make my guys bounce off them a little bit. All right, back to the run. It just, I don't know.
No, but and I didn't properly utilize it myself, but because you don't need to. Truthfully, it's a I don't know. It's not a knock on it, but it is. It's like this feature that they put in, but it really doesn't matter. The resources don't really matter a ton.
Yeah.
There's a few buildings towards the end where you're like, oh man, I really got to save up for these. But large in part, you kind of just always have enough for what you need. Everything comes so easy. And honestly, you know, and like I said, I still think this game is so much fun. It doesn't take anything away from it. But unlike, I don't want to even say Vampire Survivors or Potato, those ones are kind of on the easier side. But at least for me personally, recently, like comparing Megabonk, I feel like my progression is so slow in that game because it's difficult. Like it is a challenging game. Ball Pit's not very challenging. I think I maybe have 5 to 10 probably like true failed runs if I were to go through it, and there was none of them that I was like, man, I'm never gonna get this. It was just like, oh, dang, didn't get it that time. Guess I'll just fire it up and I'll probably do it next time. It really felt like I was always winning, and I don't mind that. There's never gonna complain about a game that just feels like I can win it all the time. But unlike some of these games, the challenge isn't necessarily there. And I think that's what takes away from the need of that meta progression area.
I was fully expecting come on here and you guys roast me because that meta progression area, that resource area was so simplistic and kind of just silly to me that I was like, I'm clearly doing this wrong because there's no way this thing is just, that's all it is. So I was expecting to come on here. I specifically didn't want to say anything. I wanted to come on here and let you guys roast me, be like, Aaron, you did it wrong, and then rip me apart. Instead, you guys are kind of like,
that has been your thing of doing the thing wrong.
No, because like there are certain buildings that you have to have like ranges on. Like the screenshot Andrew was showing of mine, I was all proud of myself because it's like if any buildings within this that give a stat boost will give a +1 if they're within this range. And I like weaseled and manipulated everything so at every just one tiny little square and they would count. And then by very next run, I leveled up the guy who got me that building and it was like, hey, it's leveled up. Now it has a wider range. All that work was meaningless. Yeah. All I had to do was just wait one run. But there was like a brief moment where that whole option of like building the towers or moving them around felt cool. It felt meaningful. It's like what you're saying. That's like and then all of a sudden it was gone. It was just gone. And so while I'm with Andrew on the ultimate kind of unlimited power of this game, drip feed it to me a little bit more, maybe would be like my only ask. Just let me work a little bit harder for it than I have to, because it just kind of just hands it out to you.
Like, here, I'll go one step further. I just already thought of a new way of doing this. What if you could only get the bonus from the building if you hit it before your run? So now what you're doing is trying to figure out your maximum way to bounce your guys off to hit as many buildings as possible.
And I mean, to that point, because I think Andrew's gripe was that, you know, having to do that every run. If I just do like a rerun, you just get the same one. Like whatever your results were from the last run, that's what you start your next one. And if you go back to base, that's when you reset it.
Yes. So I'm just saying, like, if you know you're going down with this character's flaws is he's inaccurate and stuff like that. So you're like, okay, well, I want to build specifically for that. And this current format, as long as you have built the building, you get it. You're good. But why not create that to where there's some layer of challenge? That it was, again, that meta stuff, the on top of the game stuff. I was like, the game itself, great. But then the build, the whole build and harvesting stuff was like, I don't get this. And I came on here going, these guys are going to be like, you are such an idiot. This is all this stuff. But you guys are kind of confirming that my experience is accurate. It's just,
I mean, it's definitely the weakest part of the gameplay.
which is a bummer.
That's no question.
I think with these Survivor games, I'm noticing now, that's the part I'm the most excited about. Like, that's the thing I'm like, when Andrew's talking about this unlimited power thing. Yeah, I can kind of understand that, but it's the build. The building to that process is the fun part to me. And that part was just a letdown.
So, well, I don't know. I feel like Andrew's just been sitting
Yeah,
back.
Andrew, roast me.
Get in here,
roast
Andrew.
Me. I mean, well, that's what I like. So I don't know if you've gotten that far, but at the end, you do get buildings that have unlimited upgrading. You can just keep upgrading them. They keep upgrading the stats. So like, that's what I like about it. There is this unlimited power. And that's what I feel like. That's what I've been loving about this game. And I feel like a lot of big developers are missing is when people play a video game, they want to feel like a god. They want to have that unlimited power. That's why we always talk about how much we love Dynasty Warriors. That feeling of being a soldier just smoking everyone on a battlefield. Like, that's when Diablo 4 first came out. People loved that when you got these builds that were broken. And then the developers would come in and be like, nah, it's too powerful. We're going to stop you. And then it just instantly ruins things. So I understand where you're coming from, because obviously as a big gamer, I do like to have a challenge. And I do agree with Keith. There's probably a handful of times where I lost a run. And, this game doesn't really require too much strategy, because it's very easy to aim your shots. There's a reticle that it's always kind of showing you where to go, especially some of your characters. Like, one character literally throws balls. So you could literally just throw it into pockets and just kind of smoke everyone. But just the ability to just play with things, like I said, with the special balls, combining them to make these weird, outlandish combos is super fun and addictive. So to me, the whole base building thing was such a side thought that it didn't take away anything from me. I was hoping, I guess I do agree with you. I was hoping maybe for a little bit more, because I love base building and management stuff and factory building. So when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, oh boy. Oh yeah. Satisfactory just came on Xbox, and it might ruin the podcast. But yeah, it's just, so I get where you're coming from with the base building. But also too, we also didn't really mention it. It's also kind of an idle game, because even when you're not playing the game, some of the buildings you have up there, characters are progressively collecting the resources while you're not playing the game.
You set it up right, but it's so minimal. And like, I disagree with Aaron that it takes anything away from it, but I 100% agree that it's the worst part of the game. Truthfully, and you said it, I just want, like, the combination system in the gameplay is what makes this the most fun to me. So, like, in this style of games, we've seen it for a while now. You have Vampire Survivors. They were one of the early ones that did it. You'd have your weapons and then your items. Those would combine to create a special item or special weapon, and that was how you kind of synergized your build. This game says anything's a synergy. You can now, you have because you have your evolutions, and then you have your fuse. Everything can be fused. Not everything can be evolved. The evolve creates something special. The fuse is just, just mash it together, and it creates like a hybrid of whatever two you put together. And that ability to combine, because then when you get to the two evolved balls that you get to combine into two, things just go off the rails, and every run feels a little different no matter how you try to build it. But you're not trying to build like, oh, I hope I get this time, outside of an achievement, really. You're just like, I'm just going to build what comes my way, and it's all going to be fun, but it's all going to be different.
I'm going to use your guys' words against you, though. I agree the evolution thing is cool, but here's the problem. I didn't necessarily care what I was evolving, because it just didn't really matter. It's like you guys have pointed out. you don't really lose in this game. And you can apparently have unlimited power in the end game, in the new game plus. So what do the combos matter? Was there really a combo I absolutely hated because it cost me my run? Was there a certain type of build I was trying to focus on? Where again, I'm trying not to compare everything, but I'm going to do it again. With Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, there were weapons that I knew this one was going to be difficult for me because I do not like how this gun operates. And I hated doing masteries for it because, good Lord, this is going to suck to have to play a match with just that weapon. This one, I don't know, I'll combine everything. Cool idea. And it was fun. I liked when I created toxic earthquakes. That was a lot of fun for me. But did it change anything for me? Did I suddenly feel like, ooh, that was not a combo I'm going to do in the future? No, because I could still win. I still had no problem with it.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because another great thing about this game, it has great stats. So anytime at the end of your run, it literally shows
I do love that.
all your balls and all your gadgets. And it will say how much damage it did. It even says how much DPS it does.
Yeah.
Damage per second for the non-gamer people out there. So I could straight up see, hey, when I had this ball, it was great. But then I fused it with the ghost ball and it was just passing through people and my DPS dropped. I've had that happen a couple of times. So there are some combos you could do where like,
how
that sucked.
often
That was
did
not
it
a good choice.
cost you, though?
Hundreds of times.
No, because you both said you weren't losing much.
Well, now I will say I only really I don't want to say scratch the surface. I didn't go far
You thousand the game. you did the complete opposite of scratch the surface.
Here's the thing, Aaron. Here's the thing. I'm gonna blow your mind.
Definition.
Leaderboards. So this whole thing is built on, well, not built on. That's a really dramatic way to put this. But there is leaderboard to every single level. You're trying to get the best time. So going with Andrew's, unlimited power thing, you want to keep grinding it out, get your guys power stronger, more powerful, try to beat the leaderboards. So I say I scratched the surface in terms of beating whatever, but like I haven't tried to like dig my heels in on trying to min-max. Now this is for the people who really want to play out a game. Obviously that's not what everyone's going to do and try to min-max this game. But there is aspects of that. And to me, I think that is a very fun dynamic of it because there are characters that have really, really good synergies if you can get the right combos. For example, the Sisyphus character, he doesn't do any flat damage from his special or the baby balls, only does area of effect damage, but it like amplifies it by I think like 3 or 4 or something like that. So you start to get these combinations of balls that wouldn't normally have a area of effect, fuse them up and combo them with some area of effect, and it's just like every single wave is just clear. Like, okay, I'd be interested to see what happens if I do this on a new game plus very fast or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to start playing for now that I've kind of fully unlocked the game.
I will be the first to admit, games like these, I mean, every single one of them should have leaderboards. Because to me, this is a great example of even if your meta progression isn't great, leaderboards can make up the difference, in my opinion. Because I'm kind of the same way too. If the challenge is there with a built-in leaderboard, even similar to what Megabunk does where they just reset theirs every week, I think that is a way to keep people drawn in. And yeah, this unlimited power thing, I wouldn't really care about, but with a leaderboard, that suddenly becomes a little interesting because now you're building because you want to beat somebody else. That's the progression. So I do think that was a smart move, and I do think more games like this should consider that. I'm always surprised when they don't have them. Let's just put a dang leaderboard in there. You got the scores in there.
But I mean, do they have the scores? They have
runtimes. It's not scores, it's runtimes.
Well, it's runtimes, but I'm saying like you can see the damage. It's obviously keeping track of everything
cool if you could see like what people's run was when they had that number one score, because I think Megabunk does that, right?
Megabunk will show you the character
items
they were playing.
Okay.
I don't know if it shows you the items, but it definitely shows you the character we're playing.
And items can be tough because, well, no, in this one it would be pretty easy because you are limited to 5 and 5.
Yeah.
Ultimately, but yeah, I love the leaderboard aspect of it, but like something that we haven't even really talked about. Like Andrew mentioned that there's different characters that have some different styles, but there are characters that have just an entirely different gameplay, and I think that that's one of the most, maybe not something that makes the game the most fun, but just a really, really cool touch. So you have, what, 3-4 different characters I can think of off the top of my head that just completely change the gameplay. You have one that just picks all of your stats for your skills for you. Oh, yours is so much more organized than mine, Andrew. Not surprisingly. You have one that just plays the entire game for you. One that makes it a turn-based game.
Which the turn-based guy is very difficult.
I don't think he's
liked him at
difficult. I
first.
thought he was boring.
Yeah.
And honestly,
He's
what I
difficult
did
at
for him,
bosses.
I was gonna say what I did for him every time was the final guy there, the one that plays the entire game for you. I would do the turn-based and play the game for you, and it would just go through it. But I don't know, they weren't even necessarily the most fun characters, but I thought it was cool that they had these characters that just completely twisted the gameplay on its side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I really liked. It's like, this is a very simple game. Like we said, it's Brick Breaker. And it's like, oh, but there's different heroes. And the way they all play is surprisingly very drastic. And it's awesome of like kind of, and then like I said, eventually you can play 2 people at a time. So you naturally kind of combine them. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So what was some of your favorite heroes you guys like to play as?
I liked the one where they bounced off the bottom and the wide arc, like those two together were one of my favorites. And then the Sisyphus and the Ninja were really fun together because if you could get those area of effect balls going, it was just destroying everything from the back line and just constantly freeing it up.
Yeah, Earthquake was like my favorite. Like that was my favorite ball. Like I don't know why, maybe it was just because of the area effect, but I always liked if I had the option of picking up Earthquake.
The Shade guy is probably my most losses because he shoots from the back of the line, and basically like, and enemies are constantly obviously dropping in the back. So if you do not kill all the enemies and some are just kind of getting away, like they're going to be hitting you. They're going to start attacking you. And so especially when it came to the mini bosses, it was always very difficult to kind of catch up and make up for lost ground.
I wish I had a screenshot of mine right now. It's just complete
of your town compared to Andrew's here.
I have everything unlocked as far as all of the plots of land, but 90% of it is empty, as opposed to this. And I'll just kind of move things around where I need to before to level them up. But this is where, to Aaron's point, it would be so perfect if there was some element of like what you hit in this sequence was what was available to you. Because then what Andrew is doing versus what I'm doing are all of a sudden completely changes the gameplay, right?
Yeah. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking, to me, there's meat on the bone there. Like that's kind of where I look at this. And in the grand scheme of all this, it is wild to me how this genre of game is like quickly becoming like one of my favorite genres. And it's the
I like
ease
how
of
Andrew
play.
just set this up and isn't even playing right now, by the way.
I put the Radical in. He plays for me.
So
this is no shut up.
It's just I'm like, I love these types of games and the creativity in this. You are 100% right. The characters in this, of all the kind of bullet hell survivor type games, this is the most creative. I think the synergies.
Well, have you seen the Plinko one? Well, that's not a bullet hell, I guess.
I just think this seems to be the most creative and interesting. And it makes me wonder, what is this going to look like, 3 years from now? Because I feel like these games are coming out pretty quickly. Like, I feel like we keep getting a new one of these types of games.
Well, yes and no. Well, we're getting them recently. Like, we've talked about how like this is kind of the year of indies, which is true. But not only that, this is the year of solo indies. Well, no, I guess not year, but this is like the
one
age
guy
of
who made
it.
this, right?
Yep, Kenny's son, and well, it says Kenny's son and friends. He had some friends help with like I think some of the music and I think some of the pixel art. but all in all, it's mostly done by one guy. But same with like Balatro was done by one guy, Stardew Valley was done by one guy, Vampire Survivors was done by one guy. Actually, I think technically two guys, but either way, like these games that are becoming super. Oh, and Megabonk, isn't Megabonk one guy too?
It's one guy.
It's like that's what's also so crazy is like a lot of these people are just like, I want to create my game, and they're super addictive, and they're becoming millionaires.
And it makes me wonder again, just a few years from now, if like the creativity is hitting this level already with a single person. I'm sure there'll be more single guys that are just making these types of games, but how wild is this going to get? Like, for me, it's just really, really exciting because I'm loving these types of games. I'm having a ton of fun with these types of games. And when you see the creativity in this one, you're like, man, what comes next? Like, I can't wait to see what comes next.
But I would have never thought of Balatro, a poker roguelike. I mean, heck, even this, a brick breaker roguelike. It's like, what the?
Yeah.
Who thought of this? But it's awesome.
And it's funny too, because it's like you play and you're like, oh, this just makes sense. You're like you play it and you're like, I could have thought of this. Like, no, I couldn't have. But but because of how much sense it makes, it's just, it seems like it's so easy to think of. But I do wonder, like, if it's just like in a good way, the availability of these like Unity and all of these free engines that are just available to people, especially indie developers, where they charge them very, very little. It's like per download, usually, whatever the case may be. It's like, it makes it just more accessible. And so we're getting the benefit of it. Now, I don't know, when do they screw that up? We'll see. Time will tell. But as of right now, it really is just getting us a lot of high quality games. Have you ever just like perused around itch.io?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like...
I guarantee you this was probably on there 6 months ago or something like that. You know, it's like there's tons of games on there that are just sitting around, and all of a sudden 8 months, everybody's talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you consider too, like these single developers, not to go like completely off topic here, but you know, with AI helping so much in development, you could probably use that to help you, as even if you're not super skilled in coding, you're always going to have something there that's there to help you with it. So you're going to have these engines that are easy access for people, and these people with really good ideas that just don't know how to completely code are going to have something helping them along too. I just think, again, in just a few years, I think we're going to have a version of this game that's just going to be unbelievable. Like, we're going to look back at this stuff and see like, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, I need more microtransactions.
Like this is basically a mobile game. Which, Aaron, how would this be a good mobile game?
Yeah, actually,
I mean, it really would be awesome on mobile.
It would be good on a mobile game.
It's so much fun.
I mean, it's very simplistic, so I think it actually works on a mobile game. And I actually think in a lot of ways, I bet this isn't as like when you're playing a normal version of these Survivor games, there is a lot of graphics happening. I actually think this one's a little bit more tame than...
Yeah, I mean, it's already a vertical, so it would actually make sense just sitting there holding it in a phone.
It would just kind of work, and I don't think you'd be like taxing a phone with like insane graphics, so you could probably get away with doing something like this.
Yeah, because it's all grid based. There is like outside of the balls, there's a theoretical maximum of graphics on the screen. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I love this. I love this style. I'm glad you're just coming around to it.
Yeah, I like Aaron's kind of changed a little bit. Anytime Aaron was like, "This is a mobile game," you instantly were like, "Game sucks. I can play this on my phone. Don't like it." Well, I remember case about with Slay the Spire. Like that game is like universally like gets a ton of awards, and you're like mobile game.
I think again, this is where we come back to like, to me there is a fine line between just a straight roguelike game and a Survivor game. I'm finding I really love the Survivor game. Like I know I've played Hades, and Hades was fine, but it was not something I was ever going to be super addicted to. These were games that I would absolutely get addicted to. And you know what it is? And this one is, you're 100% right. This one's even better at it than Deep Rock Galactic Survivor.
Ooh,
the pace,
just blasphemy.
The pace at which this game runs is awesome. Like a run is a perfect amount of time. Where Deep Rock,
a long run's 15 minutes.
You like Deep Rock, you have to do multiple levels. This,
and then if you do a level mastery, it's 10 levels. It's like,
that stuff is miserable. But this, you can absolutely pick up for 15, 20 minutes and make some steady progress. And I do appreciate that about this. I think that this thing is paced perfectly per level.
I mean, honestly, even Megabunk. Now, obviously, not everyone's getting into the leaderboards, but those are like 12-hour runs, and you're still like what, top 10% maybe.
Yeah, I mean they've been trying to nerf that and keep people from doing insane, multi-hour runs. But yeah, people on the leaderboards are doing ridiculously long runs on that game.
Of course, that's crazy. It's so long.
But you know what? It goes in hand with just this whole genre, and the outlandishness of it is, and I think Megabonk is one that's leaned into it the most. Is that yes, they're trying to curb it, like you said, but that's kind of what they want. They're like, yeah, let's just see how you can break our game the most, and we'll tweak it a little bit, and just keep breaking it. And I think that's so fun about these, and I think that's what I've always liked about it. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe that's kind of what's got your hooks, Andrew or Aaron, too.
Yeah, that stuff. It's really it's really working for me right now. So I'm just I'm a big fan of this. I'm looking forward to it. I like that Game Pass has been grabbing all of them. So really all of these we've been able to experience, except for Megabonk. But who knows? I mean, that could come to Xbox. But
well, I mean, I guess it could come to PC. But yeah, I was gonna say otherwise it's not on console yet. But that would be awesome.
Yeah, but the fact that these are all hitting Game Pass is just great.
I know. I mean, the fantastic thing about these type of games too, are the price points. Like they're all super cheap. This one is $10? No, $15. But like, I mean, that's usually on the high end. I mean, wasn't Megabonk like
it was
$15 as well? It's $8, yeah.
It was $8.
They're usually 8, 10. Like 15, I guess, is a higher end one. So Ball Pit, I guess you lose some points there.
Yeah, but
you're a little more expensive.
I mean, will you get your money's worth? Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you definitely.
It doesn't even take much to do that, but you will have enough fun to absolutely justify the $15. And I know the greater conversation here, and this is the thing that we've brought up before on previous podcasts here. This is a single developer with some help from his friends. He's probably pretty wealthy now because this game has created some notoriety, and he doesn't need to sell that many copies, and it's all going into his pocket. Well, he's making splits probably with Steam or Xbox, wherever you're selling it through. But all that to say, he's probably doing all right now. And the big kind of conversation here is all these studios and the ludicrous amount of money that they're throwing behind their games, and they don't even get a fraction of the popularity that these types of games get. You kind of just, don't you wish one of these big Xbox studios, they just got like 6 people together. They created a game like this on a relatively small budget, but with all the resources of being at Xbox, and see what they could come up with.
But do you think they could actually come up with something? Because that's generally what I feel like you get with these studios. They lack creativity.
What they need to do, and I say they need to do, but like personally, what I could see, especially in a like companies these size, right? Having worked around a lot of software, like they'll always do these like bug offs or whatever they call them. Like they'll have different terms for them, and they'll just throw all the developers for like 2 weeks and they're like, just develop something, anything, doesn't matter. And then we vote on what's the best one. And then like, hey, is there one we can incorporate into our product?
Yeah, I mean, that's how Grounded came around. Yeah.
I mean, and game jams are exactly what these are. Like that's not a new thing. So what these big developers with thousands of mid-level, low-level developers say, hey, we're going to do a game jam. Everyone throw it out there and like, yes, it's going to be our property, but we're going to treat you like an indie developer. We're going to silo you off, kind of do your thing. You get 2 years to create your game, and that's it. I don't know. Maybe we get some gems. Maybe we don't.
A ton of games have been created by those types of things. It's
absolutely have their name on a game like Ball Pit, just doing that.
Yeah, it's a small group of people that come up with a really good idea, and they pitch that idea. And I don't know. To me, if you're a major studio and you're watching these games go huge, I mean, you've got to be thinking to yourself, what are we missing here? And there's obviously creative people at these studios, and not all of those guys are completely bankrupt for ideas. They've all been making games forever, and they've probably got some really good ideas that just nobody's giving them a chance to make. And it's just surprising to me that we haven't seen an Ubisoft version of this game. You know?
Ubisoft could have made Clear Obscure.
I mean, that's true. I mean, that's another great example. That's another great example of
It's probably a much better example than, say, Ball Pit, and not to take away from Ball Pit, but just because of the size of Clear Obscure versus this game. But like, even in cases of, I feel like game like this, not all of them, but they are people who have experience, and usually it's industry experience, and they've just, they burnt out, they moved away from it, whatever the case may be. Like Balatro, he was a game developer, he worked in it, he just he had never developed his own and just decided to on a passion project. So it's like these aren't complete strangers to it, I guess, in most cases.
Yeah, that's my greater point. My greater point is just this game would not cost you a lot of money to make. So it's just that's the part that's surprising to me, that nobody has tried. Like, all right, let's make our own version. We're only going to put a couple million into it, and the return would be a lot easier to get to. This is a very similar thing that happens in movies. Like, Blumhouse is very famous for this. They have this strict, their movies can't be over a $5 million budget, and a lot of those are going to fail. But the risk was nothing. And then a few of those are going to make, 80, 90, $100 million. So to them, it's always worth it to just throw the 5 million at a ton of movies, and those few hits will fuel everything and take care of everything. And then even those losses on those other ones weren't that big of a deal. And I'm just surprised gaming hasn't kind of looked at what the indie scene is doing right now and said, why aren't we doing some of that? Like, we can still do our big projects, but let's do a bunch of small ones too. And
like with Ball Pit here, I don't really quite know how long it took this one guy to make this game. But if you had a team make this
that's
game,
what I'm saying.
like it's not a very in-depth game. I feel like they could have churned a game out like this in a year. Like, and that's like you make a valid point with this, Aaron, of like, why don't they just have a small team kind of figure out something like this?
Though, and I don't want to say like, I don't know, like some of this, it's like, would it have been made with the same love? Like,
probably not.
And I know it's so stupid. Like it's corny to say, but it isn't. Like this, if it was thrown together in a month by an EA, it wouldn't have been nearly as neat, I think.
I want to be clear when I'm saying all this, because I do think somebody out there is probably screaming that right now. Like, why the heck would I want an Ubisoft version of this game? I will fully admit that I'm only throwing that out there because I want more of these types of games. I don't care where they're coming from. I just want to try more of them. So for me,
on the street.
So for me, I selfishly want everyone to make one because I want to see who makes the best. That's kind of where my brain is at. So do I think Ubisoft would make a better version? No, but I still want to see it.
See, I'm with you, Aaron, and I do love these games. I'm waiting for, why has no one done a tower defense one? Like, tower defense is such a dead genre now.
That's because
I miss tower defense.
Literally games. I'm not even joking. It's just a mobile genre now. That's all it is.
It's sadly really.
I guess if you argue, it's Vampire Survivors, but you don't move.
Yeah, it's just. It's such a mobile genre. I could not imagine somebody.
I would argue that a lot of those mobile games are also crossed over onto Steam, and you'll see a lot of them on there. But unfortunately, you are right, and it's a sad thing to see. But I want so many more of these games. I mean, there's going to be a Warhammer Survivor game.
I just saw that was announced.
All right, I'll play it.
I was just thinking about it the other day. Why is there not a Helldivers Survivor game? I mean, it basically
there is. It's called Helldivers 1.
Oh, that's
really?
Helldivers 1 was a top-down shooter originally.
All right, well, never mind. I stand corrected. But could be again. Let's bring it back. Just call it a Survivor game.
All right, we ready to move on to graphics?
Yeah. Graphics are fine. Aaron, it did have pixel art.
It is pixel art,
This is a bit
but you
pixely.
know what? I kind of like the little bit of charm to it. I like that the city, at least when the city that kind of comes up out of the pit and down, it has like this 3D-ish look to it that I really like. I also like the character art. I think the character art's kind of fun. So it's
I like it's kind of goofy. It's people literally in boxes.
Yeah.
And they don't really kind of move.
It's pixel art, but with a little bit of some kind of charm to it. So I'm not completely against it.
It's got a Coraline aspect to it where they don't have eyes.
Yeah.
Or not all of them have eyes.
I was waiting for an explanation about the people that like all the people you play as literally look like zombies.
Yeah, I like that. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool look, but it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't need to. I'm not saying it does, but I'm just saying it.
Again, there is no story to this game. Like there really is.
No. No, but it's cool. I like it.
But it is cool.
They all look neat. They all look very unique. It's fun. Actually, Andrew, I'm just seeing you don't have it on here. But one thing, not that it's a huge deal because the game isn't very hard, so it's a medium gamer tip, I suppose. But in the settings, you can turn on a hitbox, so it gives you a little blue circle on your character that shows exactly where you'll get hit.
That would have been helpful.
It is super helpful. Like I said, it's not needed, but it's helpful.
No, but it's very like because I've gotten a couple boss fights where I'm like, I don't know how I'm getting hit.
Yeah, especially when you have the double characters, it makes it a little easier.
Wow. Well, that is a good tip, Keith. Music though, the music's very good.
It's awesome.
There's actually a handful of times I thought this music was done by the same guy who did Cult of the Lamb, but it's definitely not because that guy unfortunately died.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was going to say, like, how do you know? Did you look it up? Oh, never mind.
No, yeah, his name was Riverboy. Did you not? Oh, no, because I remember, I don't remember if we did the episode with him, but Nate from Gaming Together, yeah, he bought his album and everything like that. I remember I messaged him that, yeah, he unfortunately passed. I think it was a car accident or something like that. But yeah, there's a handful of songs in here that I'm like, this sounds like it could be from Cult of the Lamb.
How good is Cult of the Lamb, by the way?
It's a lot of fun. It's been a while since I played it.
I've debated
it's
buying
closer
it before.
to. Did you probably never played Moonlighter, did you?
No.
As I say,
Moonlighter's great
because it's more of like a twin stick shooter. It's not even truly a roguelike.
So I bought Cult of the Lamb, and I liked it, but it never quite fully hooked me. I've only beat the second boss. There's like, what, 4?
Yeah, I think I've beaten all the bosses.
It's always on sale.
It is good.
Like they always have it on sale.
Yeah, I don't think you hate it, but I don't think you would love it as much as some of these other ones.
All right, fair.
Yeah, it will not replace Deep Rock Survivor.
No, nothing will.
And new on Game Pass, you might check out Halls of Torment though.
Oh yeah, I did see some of that. That does look fun.
Yeah, if you didn't like Hades, you probably wouldn't like Cult of the Lamb.
Gotcha.
The base building in it is kind of fun. It's kind of fun running a cult and like sacrificing people.
That does sound fun. I've always wanted to do that.
Especially
again, scratching an itch I never knew I had.
Type animals.
But yeah, so music's good. The audio can get a little annoying. Hearing the balls just boop 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 boop. You hear that noise a lot.
That does suck.
But overall, it's not bad. Like I said, at least the music is actually pretty decent enough. But anyway, achievements are pretty good. They're pretty fun. Of course, you're getting a lot of achievements for beating a level so many times, unlocking this character. Easy for achievement hunters, as we've said. Keith has 1,000 in the game. It'll take a little bit of time to beat. I think for completion is something around like 36 hours. Not awful. So yeah, for achievement hunters, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, once you unlock the double characters, you just kind of look at. I don't know. It started on the first level because nothing involves New Game Plus or the fast modes as far as the achievements go. So I think and it shows you what characters you need to beat it with. So I would just intentionally select 2 characters I hadn't beat it with for each level, and that's how I knocked it out. And then I looked up a guide, not a guide, but like a how to build each item in the encyclopedia to make it easier.
Wow, Keith, you had to look up strategies.
Loser.
Loser.
No, I just didn't know. I didn't know all the combos, and I didn't want to
shame him. Everyone,
figure them out. Shut up, Andrew. You don't know me.
Soda Chat asked if we're gonna review Satisfactory.
If it is Game Pass,
I guess not because it's not on Game Pass, but.
I mean, Andrew would just do that on his own. Like
he already is.
He doesn't need to that doesn't need to be on Game Pass. He will just gladly do an own review for that.
I mean, I've always wondered, like, I feel like I probably wouldn't be good doing a solo review of a game, but like, there's a lot of games I could review
Except for
if
that
I
one,
did.
I think it'd probably be like a 2.5 hour long review.
Maybe.
You're gonna do a whole podcast on it. Just
I just don't know if I'd be very entertaining. We'll see. If people want it, if people are asking for it, maybe I'll do it. I at least have a stream of it on our YouTube. But anyway, let's get into our final thoughts here on Ball Pit, or whatever you want to call it. Starting off for me, like I said, this was a definite game. It's super simplistic. There's very few people I could recommend this to. I could recommend this to my 6-year-old. It's super simple. It's very easy. It's addictive of just shooting balls around. Fun characters. The constant progression in it. I always felt like my characters were just getting stronger. The items you're unlocking, the balls, the combination you're making. It's just super fun and addictive. This game has so much replayability to it, so much to do in it. I do agree with Aaron. The base building was a little bit weird and weak, but it didn't take away anything for me. I still thought this game was just an absolute blast to play. It was easy something for me to put up. I could watch TV. It didn't require a lot of brain power. This, like I said, eventually this game too, it can even be played as an idle game, as I've been demonstrating playing this as we're recording. But yeah, for me, this is a 93. Check out Ball Pit. It is a ton of fun.
Yeah, I pretty much immediately knew I was gonna like this when I saw it. Was first run, just sealed everything I needed to know about it. And I don't think there was ever a point where I wasn't really having fun. I rarely did the idle aspect. I mean, other than obviously needing to beat it with that character, but I kind of just used it for one character that I just didn't like playing, which was the turn-based character. But still, I love that character was there, because I love when a game has already taken a genre and done something super unique with it, and then even inside of itself they do something hyper unique with it even further. Like, that was just a really cool element. And for all of these games that I play, I love the item building in terms of the evolutions, the fusions, the combos you could create. Well, obviously not literally endless, just feels like it is, and it just felt like everything was different every time, despite your character walking up a row and playing Brick Breaker effectively. So I don't know what it is. It's I've said it, I don't know, more times, including off of this podcast, that this game is just so much more fun than it should be. Definitely play it. Yeah, I'll just go with Andrew on the 93. I think that's a good score for it.
Yeah, this genre game is awesome. As we've gone over on this podcast, I just kind of can't wait to see where this continues to evolve. And right now, this one is not my favorite, but it's on the top of the creativity scale. I think just taking this game and switching up the dynamic of how you move, how the levels work, is really, really a lot of fun. The evolutions are a lot of fun. The characters genuinely feel wildly different from each other, and there just feels like there's unlimited combinations there. The biggest downfall, or the biggest pitfall, is the meta progression. And for me, unfortunately, it's the reason why it's not my go-to, is because I don't feel like that meta progression is enough for me to care. And maybe the challenge is part of the problem. Maybe I need to hit a brick wall to feel like that meta progression is so important, where they're both right. That took you forever to get there.
I didn't know you were letting up another joke. So
ever to get there. So, at the end of the day, it's easy, and so the progression doesn't feel like it's doing much on top of it. So, unfortunately, it's the only reason why this is just not going to be a go-to for me. The creativity's there through the roof, but outside of that, and the gameplay itself is fun. Because the music is also great, I'm going to give it an 86.
Man. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you so much for our listeners who joined us in our chat. As I said, make sure you go to GamePassGrabback.com. Check at the very top right corner. You'll find the link to our Discord, our YouTube, and all our other stuff. You'll also, obviously, on the website, find all our past reviews. Make sure you join us. We always love talking to people. I mostly stream on our YouTube channel. Me and Keith are quite active on our Discord, so if you ever want to talk to us about video games or whatnot, make sure you join our Discord. And join our live recordings. We do it every Wednesday around 9 o'clock EST. But yeah, I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird0952.
I've been Keith. I was right on the scores for Donnie.
Are you not going to give us an opportunity to say goodbye?
He didn't. No outro.
Okay, go ahead.
Bye.
Okay.
See you.
All right, everyone. Love you all. We'll see you again next week.